Hello, my name's Robert Tulip. I'm giving a talk today about the precession of the equinox over the 7,000 years from 4000 BC through to 3000 AD to explain how the originators of Christianity were able to use this observation of the very slow cycle of the heavens as a framework for to develop their theology. So what I'll do is I've got a presentation on Skygazer 4.5, a sky chart, and I'll share my screen now to explain this. So what we see here is the position of the equinox in 4004 BC, and you see that the equinox, that is the position where the sun shifts from the southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere on about the 21st of March each year. Back in 4004 BC, it was in between the constellations of Gemini and Taurus near the Milky Way, and it then started moving backwards through the zodiac at a rate of 1 degree of arc every 71.6 years. So we'll just show how this movement occurs. What we see here is the equinox moving through Taurus, and this time panel shows the time. So we've reached 3000 BC, and then we reach the position of the end of Taurus and the beginning of Aries in about 2000 BC, continuing. And the way astrology has interpreted this astronomical phenomenon is to call the periods where the equinox is in each constellation a zodiac age. So that period that we've just looked at from 4000 to 2000 BC is the age of Taurus. Then over the next 2000 years, we see the equinox continue to precess 1000 BC through Aries and reaching the boundary between Aries and Pisces in 21 AD. Now, this is a fascinating observation in terms of how ancient astronomer priests were able to develop the theology of Christianity. And what I'd like to show you now is another diagram looking at this point in a bit more detail. This is the position of the equinox in 21 AD, and it's regarded as the time of the life of Jesus Christ under Pontius Pilate. It's matches to what we can call the Alpha and Omega moment, because the seasons and the stars were aligned. The annual path of the sun from right to left in the diagram was entered the constellation of Aries at the same time that we call the sign of Aries, and that is 0 degrees of right ascension. Meanwhile, as we see the celestial equator, as we've been observing, it's continuing to move from left to right at a rate of 1 sign every 2000 years. So what we're at here, at this point, we see the first fish of Pisces as the line of stars that's at right angles to the path of the sun, which the sun is crossing at this time. And what we see here is an exact model of the well-known Christian symbol, the Chi-Rho cross, which is, you see, depicted below the line of stars, with the rho matching to the first fish of Pisces, which the equinox crossed in 21 AD, and the Chi, or the X, as matching to the X in the sky, called by Plato and the Timaeus the two great circles of the celestial equator and the path of the sun. Now, in the traditional symbol, we see the alpha and omega signs indicating that this point matches to when the stars and the seasons were in harmony with each other uniquely, and the beginning and the end of time, which became the symbolic mythology for Jesus Christ, known as the Alpha and Omega, the first and last, the beginning of the end. So continuing with the Skygazer movement through the age of Pisces, we've gone through the age of Taurus, traditionally the time of Adam and Noah, then through the age of Aries, traditionally the time of Abraham and Moses, and now entering the Christian era, the age of the fish, beginning in 21 AD. That's by this modern astronomical calculation, and continuing. So starting again, we reach about 1000 AD, and then reach to the present day, where the equinox point is next to this group of stars known as the second fish, or the circlet, in the constellation of Pisces, continuing on over the next few thousand years into the age of Aquarius, the water bearer, and subsequently, of course, the next zodiac ages in 4000 AD, the age of Capricorn, and then in 6000 AD, the age of Sagittarius, and continuing through the other signs, and once again reaching the Milky Way. And that's all I wish to discuss for today. So thank you very much for watching.